Welcome back to Movies with Virginia. We just got done watching The Mechanic, or as Nick calls it, Jason Statham movie number 23.
Oh yes, Jason Statham's
And
one
I
of the
call
best
it the
actors ever.
machinist.
I have no words anymore, Izzy. I don't know how many times I corrected you throughout the movie.
It just didn't stick. The name just didn't stick for me. I don't know why. I had the machinist in my head.
But it was how long was it? It was about standard movie size, length,
Yeah, probably a minute.
It felt like a
30.
standard.
duration. Yeah.
I was typing in the mechanic again.
The-
I mean, the machinist.
mechanic is correct. The mechanic is correct. But it had its fair share of foreshadowing, maybe a little bit of stuff that we all thought maybe it didn't necessarily have to be in the movie, but Jason Statham movies and Lionsgate, their favorite kinds of scenes. But
P and the V. The pay-per-view.
Birds and the bees.
It was in an hour and 30 minutes. So it was like a standard movie, right?
all right.
It was an hour and 30.
An hour and 33 if you want to be
I
exact,
missed it by 3 minutes.
But yeah.
Damn it.
Now,
Yeah.
now I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but this movie does have a sequel, The Mechanic
Yes.
Resurrection.
Mechanic 2.
Even though he didn't die, but
I told you he
Well,
licked the
spoiler
gas.
alert, boy. Spoiler alerts, Izzy. Spoiler alerts. There are
No,
people.
you're right.
There are
That's my
people.
fault.
There are people on this video conference that haven't seen it yet.
I would hope anybody coming into here has been warned about the spoilers.
I feel like anyone going into a movie review should be well aware that spoilers might come out.
Yeah.
I was referring to Lulu back there because I don't think she was paying attention the entire movie, but
She's
a little
napping.
knocked out.
Trying to poke.
but so I thought it was pretty standard. It didn't have anything crazy. I did feel like some of the mechanic work was well planned out, even though he didn't, it wasn't on screen like all his prep work and all that stuff. But I did like that fact. I thought it was. I don't really have a lot to say with it, besides it being kind of a standard Jason Statham movie.
I felt that. I felt like I've seen this movie so many other times before. Like it, not to say it felt generic, but it felt generic. Like I feel like Jason Statham was playing Jason Statham. Yeah.
So
It's an action movie
I don't-
where he kills. What more do you
See,
want?
I don't know if it's
Or
a second.
John Wick.
I don't know if
Look
it's a
at that
second
side.
one or if it was one of the newer.
It must have
Hitman
been
movie.
Transporter, probably.
Transporter is all about the cars, though. It's not necessarily like.
No, that's
explosions.
Transformers.
No, Transporter.
No, that's Michael Bay. You're thinking Michael Bay.
No, Transporter is also him
But-
killing people, but he's driving.
But personally, for me, I would have liked to see all that prep work. It's like, him sneaking into the cartel mansion and being like, all the indigenous workers, not noticing the one white guy in the room.
I did notice that in the beginning. I was like, nobody questions the Mr. Statham in here. But it kind of threw me off because they had a couple bodyguards that were white. I was like, okay, maybe he's passing off as it. But I
Yeah.
agree with Andy. I feel like showing the prep work would have been nice because it felt like a lot of times he was just like, I know what building you're in. You will never find me. I'm already in fucking here.
No,
And I was
well, it's like-
okay.
It's like they cut to it and it's like, yeah, he's already done all the prep work and he's just kind of like, I've prepared 40 moves ahead. Checkmate, bitch.
Yeah, and
but
and
Izzy likes to
for
see
me
everything.
that kind of I like to see everything because it gives me not an excuse to be like they just pulled this out of their ass. Like if they show me the scenes of him, like in case when they were saying like the adrenaline, in case the adrenaline doesn't kill him, the EMTs will be like, and I was like, that's good. They thought this through. And then if he just appears with meat in the fucking drain thing, I'm like, what the fuck? Where did that come from? Even if
I
that was
feel
the intention all along, I like it when they show me. So it doesn't give me an
I
excuse to
feel
be like,
like
this
that's
came out of nowhere.
I feel like that was on purpose. That was supposed to be the gotcha moment.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a surprise.
Yeah.
Like if they showed it to you, it'd be like, ah. But like you saw the blood, you're like, oh shit, this guy's taking it serious. Like putting it down the drain and cutting it apart. And you're like, JK, it's just, some meat. You got you.
Got him.
It's
Yeah,
basic.
but like it doesn't work when they show me the sink 3 times and there's no meat anywhere near the sink. So where do you like fucking just drop it in real quick?
Well, it's a sink, so you put things inside, and you never
It-
But
see
the
it's
thing was
that.
already on, so it should have already been cutting it the entire time.
It's more of a like
No, the sink
No,
is
he
like
in
hadn't
my
put it
this.
on
hand.
yet.
The sink is like a thing like this, right? So when you put a dish on the side, it doesn't just automatically
Mhm.
fall in. It just stays on the side. So you put the meat on the side, it's not gonna fall in until he actually puts his hand in there and is pushing the hand, but he's actually moving the meat.
Yeah, but they had shown the top view of the sink. And I didn't see no meat in there.
They did. Well, the machine.
But that's just like a
sink
minor
wasn't
nitpick. It's not
on.
like Yeah, he turned it on, remember? Before he put
No,
his
he
hand
turned
in
it
there?
on like that, but I don't think was it on at the very beginning? From the beginning?
Not
No.
at the very beginning.
Not from the very beginning.
But
But
he's
when
saying
he
that
turned it
they
on and then
showed
he
him.
grabbed the
I don't
girl's
know.
arm.
Well, they technically didn't show you the sink after he had turned it on.
Yeah, he put this hand, like they had shown the hand and he was like, oh, I'm gonna put it in there. How much do you want me to put in?
Oh.
But that's just
Anyway.
like a minor nitpick. It's not like a big deal.
Anyway, my favorite
But-
scene was him rolling away from that car explosion, and it just literally he must have rolled like for a total of
So
like
many
10
times.
minutes to like get to the other end behind that first tree. And it's like, yeah, okay, nobody's gonna notice this guy going full Link and just going yeah, 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 you know.
I didn't think that was
Yeah.
funny because, like, it's supposed to be the dramatic gotcha moment again, too, right? And the guy's like, first of all, there's a hole in his fucking gas tank. The next part to the gas tank, but that's beside the point.
That
But
was
the guy
really
never
old
turned
truck.
out to look, like, hey, are you still in there? And see the guy rolling all the way around the parking lot.
But to
I feel
top
I feel
it-
like you should have caught that.
Yeah. But to top it for me, I think the movie ended up being about a 6 out of 10. It was a decent movie. It wasn't like utterly fantastic. It was just like on par. It wasn't anything special, but it was, everything I wanted out of an action movie.
Yeah, I give it a simmering on the Izzy scale, translated to like a 5 out of 10. It did. I wasn't bored. I was entertained the entire time. I was like, "Ooh, is they actually gonna do something different?" They didn't, but it was an action movie. That's probably the best I can give it. Like, it didn't do anything amazing. I like some of the scenes, some of the fighting, but for the most part, it felt like a generic action movie.
You can tell it wasn't a Michael Bay film though.
Not enough explosions, that's for sure. And the cars were paper weak sometimes, but other times they were strong.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched this movie a lot of times.
Like I said, Jason Statham movie number, what is it, 23, Nick?
Yes, yeah.
Because Nick doesn't know the movie names. He just knows that movie with Jason Statham being Jason Statham.
He only
I
knows
feel like
12
that
words.
hurts movies when you just have Jason Statham be Jason Statham. Like, they all blend into me. Like,
I don't know. I would go watch it because they put him on there. They got me.
a simple man.
They got me.
For the record, everybody, I would like it to be known that Nick doesn't know actors by their names, only characters, with the exception of maybe like 6 actors
Jason
in total,
Statham.
with one of them being Jason Statham.
4 of
they're
them being
bald.
bald.
He has an affinity for bald actors.
They're good action actors.
One
They
day,
usually
if Nick
have
comes
good
out,
voice.
one day if Nick comes out all pelon, I'm like not surprised.
He's like, which one are you trying to be? Rock, Vin Diesel, Jason Statham? I
Yes.
can say all of them.
I'm actually coming out in the next.
Well, Nick
Oh.
is the hacker in the van.
With bald hair.
Yes.
There's Scotty.
Yeah,
Oh,
man, that's
Scotty
Scotty
looks
shadow
good.
back there.
Mm-hmm.
ready.
Like,
Um,
hey, where's the Chihuahua?
but yeah, I mean, I've watched this movie a lot of times. Personally, I enjoy it. I mean, action movies I don't really think too much about because I feel like people don't usually try to tell you the whole story in action movies because that's not what they're trying to go for. They just try,
Vengeance.
yeah, they're just trying to kill people. So that's pretty much what like I see in the movies. But I enjoy this one. I mean, like I said, I've seen it a lot of times. It was nothing new for me. Uh, but I'd still probably give it like a 7. I just like action. So I mean, I'm sure I've recommended this movie before. Um, and The Mechanic too, and like
Machinist.
no, The
Actually,
Mechanic.
with Nick having said the name of this movie like at least 8 times this week, that's why it was on my list of possible movies.
Subliminal messaging.
Let's see. Well, I think for mine, I think this is the first time I've actually seen this movie. Jason Statham does tend to blend with his other movies, so I'm not quite sure which one I saw after this point. But it was pretty good. I mean, it was okay. I'd give it like a solid 5. Editing was pretty poor, I think. I think there's like a lot of jump cuts, like like within the fighting scenes, and that really ruins like the viewer's perspective as far as like where people are and like
I
in
agree.
perspective to one another.
Well, I have to point out that jump cuts is normally standard with like a stage fight.
Not
Normally
necessarily. It
standard for a
depends.
bad movie, maybe.
Well, no,
It,
I said it's standard. Now, I mean, nowadays they're trying to get them all in one take and like more hands on, but that's usually ends up being with movies that use less of stunt doubles than they do uh, generally.
I mean, it
But
doesn't even need to be one take. I think there's like a better way of filming in general, just other than just kind
Yeah.
of jump cutting. I don't know. I feel like there's just an unusual amount of jump cuts within the action scenes, which is fine. I just, especially like on the rooftop scene, whenever they're killing the final baddie, like I felt like they were jumping away too much, and I was like losing sight of where people were. And I was like, how did you not see him like right there? If like
Yeah, like that
the
one
editing.
scene where he's on the ledge and the guy's like right up here and they're like cutting and I'm like, and then he just walks next to him and he's like, there you go, I got you, bam, bam. And I was like, he was like right there. Are you not looking? Where are you looking? And I don't know if that was like a bad like just action direction or because all the cuts make me like, oh, I don't see what this guy is looking at. I can see everything, but it's
I
kind
think
of
I think it might have been bad like action direction because I can see it happening, but just the way they timed everything, it like you said, it makes it not believable.
I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I had a problem with the editing, but I mean, it was fine. I think the plot was very simple. I didn't. I mean, I enjoyed it. Classic revenge story slash
Vengeance.
double revenge story.
double baddie, real baddie, am the baddie.
Yeah, I was really bothered with the love interest slash not love interest.
I
Dude, she
all
was
that
not.
felt unnecessary,
Okay,
completely
okay,
unnecessary.
okay. Here's the thing. Even if okay, let's just say she was not a love interest in the middle of the movie. Okay, for you guys who don't know, she meets this guy. He meets this guy in the middle of a bar. Just comes up to him like, "Oh, do you want to dance?" And they start dancing, and then things happen. Wakes up in the morning, and then that's it. See, I would have been okay with it if there was no interaction, but there was like some interaction making like the audience feel like, okay, is there something going on here? And then
Well,
Gonna
not
go
only
somewhere.
does he go once, but he goes back to her a second night, and then
well,
you're like, okay, they'll probably end up together at the end of the movie
on
for
that
like the
part,
same
And
night.
gives her a chihuahua.
they make it clear it was not the first time he had been at her place.
Yeah, they say some text that
It's
said that they have been doing this multiple times.
yeah, it definitely wasn't the first time, and It
Even more
probably-
so. like
I
Like, I don't
I
know.
understand like it's not their first time, like he's just he's routinely coming in here dropping money, but like that just felt all very superfluous to the movie.
Now-
yeah, the last scene he was like, "Oh, you need some company," and I was like, "I got you," and he's like, "No, I
Well-
mean a lady person," and then what's this had no effect on the movie whatsoever.
Now,
Like to show us him
you're-
getting close with the machinist, his kid,
mechanic.
so that's the companion that he's gonna get,
Izzy, say it with me, mechanic.
mechanic. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's just hard to remember.
You're right. The movie could have gone without it. Like, it really wouldn't have changed anything if that scene wasn't there. But that
Yes.
movie didn't come quite out of nowhere. If you like think into it, it makes sense. Now, if they had taken it out, would have changed anything in the movie? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
No,
that's why
I agree.
that's why I think it's unneeded, and like I agree with Ricky. Like I know it has its place in the world. Obviously, somebody who's killing old people in wheelchairs for fun or for money is going to need a little bit of company every once in a while. But like it didn't add anything to the story. I think.
I don't think so. Yeah, and I don't know. I just feel like the sometimes like the relationship between them was kind of like awkward sometimes, and like the relationship between him and like his dad that he killed was kind of awkward. I mean, I think that's just like his character being an assassin and just trying to be like, stone cold,
Straight to the point.
yeah, type of personality, which I can see. Um, but I mean, other than that, like, the movie was pretty good. I mean, I don't know if I would have gone into the movie theater to pay for it to go see it, but I'm glad I got to see it right here. It was fun.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
one of
also
those
this
movies
movie is
where I
also older. I forget
Yeah.
what year, but
I
like
mean, there's
yeah,
a lot
like-
of older movies that I'll rewatch,
yeah,
and
like
I would pay.
it's not a I don't think it's a problem of it being an old action movie. I think it's a problem of it being a mediocre action movie. Like there's some good action movies that are around that time that like don't have a lot of jump cuts, that keep everything like really well told. You don't have random scenes you don't need. Like the action's good, choreographed and everything. Like I just think this one wasn't. It wasn't a movie I would go watch, like Ricky said. But if everybody's coming, then I'll be like, all right, we'll go watch The Machinist.
Mhm.
Like it's not one that I regret watching, but it's not something that I'd be like, hey, let's watch it again.
Yep.
well, I guess
So?
this cuts it for this week. Movie review.
If you've liked it, go ahead and give us a like, subscribe, the usual spiel. Please write down in the comments, Destructicon, it's mechanic.
It's
I
a
mean,
mechanic.
or The Machinist,
in the
or The
comments,
Machinist.
or the machinist.
Let us know
It's
what
not
you thought of the
comments.
movie.
Yeah, tell us what you thought.
But
Nick stole my line.
mainly reinforce the fact it's the mechanic.
And
Bye.
if you can tell this is a Jason
Not
Statham
yet,
movie.
Nick, not yet. We're not
No,
saying
we're not
that.
leaving yet. I need them to tell me if they remember the last Jason Statham movie they've seen, because I don't. They all seem the same. That's it. That's all I want. I want
I
validation
mean,
in that.
I don't think he has come out in one in a while.
I mean, I guess everybody except Nick has asked them to put something in the comments. So Nick, request something in the comments.
They're not the same.
Spoken like a true Jason Statham fan.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, till then, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.